He's got a tremendous amount of experience, particularly, going to the World Series last year with the Jays. But, he's almost 10 years in the big leagues. He's a veteran that pitches with a lot of guile and pitchability. I think he's in great shape for his age, 36. I think he's turning 37 in a couple of weeks. And the last 4 seasons, he's been just remarkably consistent and productive. So we value all that. I think we have a young rotation with some guys with a lot of upside. And, Kyle Bradish is back for a full season and looks excellent so far. Trevor Rogers back for a full season, looks excellent so far. Shane Baz, you mentioned, had Tommy John a couple of years ago, but I thought put together a really nice full season after surgery, pitching in the ballpark that the Rays were in last year, which was a spring training field.
So that is Mike Elias on the Jim Duquette, Jim Bowden show on Sunday, talking about the addition of Chris Bassitt. By the way, Mike Elias, President of Baseball Operations, will be joining the Fresh Take on Thursday evening, so tune in for that. But Chris Bassitt, the addition, and got to admit, watching or seeing videos, seeing stuff from spring training gets a little extra hop in your step. Yep. Baseball's here. But now we've had a little time to process this. The addition of Chris Bassitt means what?
Well, again, I think they were really building a faulty product without him. I just think there was the idea that they were going to patch together I don't know, how many innings do you hope to get out of your starting rotation? When not just the 5 you begin with, but the guys you're going to need all year. 2,000 innings? I don't even like how whatever you think a reasonable number is for starting pitching innings. 1,200? I don't know. I don't know how they were getting there without one more guy who could provide a solid 170 to 180 himself. Yeah, I think it had to happen. It was somewhat perfunctory. I think they were selling a lie without adding him to the mix, given what Bradish is up against, given what Wells is up against, given Rogers. Even you look at Rogers' major league innings thrown, because the minors are different, and they'll tell you the minors are different mentally and physically. To think you were going to fill it with the Brandon Youngs and the Cade Poviches, I think was just, and contend, was poppycock. So it's put them on solid footing in mid-February, which is where we are and all you can hope for. Things can turn for the worse quickly with pitching in this league. It happens all over the place. And without him, again, I think it was a house of cards. So yeah, I think it's a really big deal. I think it gives them a chance to compete for a wild card.
To your point about pitching and what goes on, you saw Pablo Lopez.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a tear in the UCL. And
I was just talking myself into, I saw like 15, 16 to 1 Twins to win the division. I was just looking at it over the weekend because we're preparing for some stuff on Wanna Bet.
Yeah.
Don't think I can get there without Pablo Lopez.
I think the Bassitt move checks a lot of boxes. Does it check the frontline starter box? No. But it gives you a guy that has been very consistent. And you guys bring up the pitching injuries, and Lord knows the Orioles had a ton of pitching injuries last year. This is someone that's made 30 or more starts in 4 straight seasons, 3 of those 4 years in the AL East with the Blue Jays, completing at least 170 innings or more in all of those starts. And it also seems like a really good dude as well. Eflin knows him, of course, and Pete Alonso spoke extremely high of him when he spent a year with him with the Mets. So I think it checks a lot of boxes for this team.
Absolutely, and it raises the floor. We talk about their stated goal was to get a frontline starter. They did not do that. But just to put in perspective, we've mentioned this before. Zach Eflin was their opening day starter a year ago. He's probably their 6th starter as we sit here right now. Yeah. So, it's not where I think we wanted it to be, but it's miles above where it was a year ago.
You can paint me a picture in which it's competitive enough to keep them competitive. And again, you couldn't do that prior to this signing. And as much as they were reticent to admit it, and as much as he did the press conference about the new facilities and then the injury press conference, and he, kind of parsed his words carefully and was non-committal about them adding anything else. Internally, their algorithms, their numbers had to be telling them that, like, again, whether it was Bassitt, whether it was Gallen, who was going to be a little more expensive. Turns out not that much more expensive, but a little more expensive. Whether it was Nick Martinez, who signed, I think, a day before they signed Bassitt. Someone like that had to join this roster. And they did. And they have a baseline to compete.
It's them not acting on a best case scenario where, without Bassitt, you could look at all five of these guys and you're back to the if guy of it all. Well, the reality is injuries happen in this starting rotation, and Kyle Bradish already on the record, not that it's a huge surprise, but talking over the weekend that more than likely he is going to be on an innings limit.
Of course he is.
So trying to navigate through that is going to be a big story.
Talked about it a lot last week. I mean, some of this stuff. Oh, the Orioles are open to trading Mountcastle and Mayo. No, duh. Like, tell me something. Tell us something we don't know. Like, tell us when there's a trade. Tell us what they're getting in return. Like, stop. Stop.
It's more surprising.
Anybody who pays attention to this team's been talking about what's going on forever. Like, go actually report on some news.
Yeah, it's more surprising they're still here than they're trying
exactly.
to.
Oh, we're open to trade them. Really? Real? Who'd you get that from?
Yeah.
No way. I refuse to believe it. It's impossible.
So I guess as far as free agent spending, they're probably done.
I don't think they're addressing. I think the bullpen will be something that they trade for in season, if need be. It will. It will go on a limb. It will need be.
Yeah,
it will need be. I think that's going to be apparent by Memorial Day that the area they're most deficient in is high leverage arms, and that's the most traded commodity between Memorial Day and the trade deadline. There will be more relievers dealt than anything else. And some of the starters who were dealt, or like we've seen in many cases, end up in the bullpen for the team they go to that might have an abundance of riches, but you can never have too many arms. So even, I'm old enough to remember when old General Soreness was the marquee acquisition
that was
at the deadline, and they're playing the Rays down the stretch in big games, and he's warming up to mop up. He ain't warming up in high leverage. They got him warming up in the fifth inning when they're down by 5. And I'm like, there you go.
Fuji and the General. That was a time.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have even been on the ALDS roster. Fuji was not.
Yeah, no, he was not. Yeah, that was
shut out completely.
And a year later, I'm watching Fuji pitch for the Syracuse Mets.
Yeah.